Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you happen to be watching this. Welcome back to Week to Week. Thank you for clicking on this week's episode. If you're new here, my name is William, and together with my fiancée Laura and my brother Andrew, we run The Attachment Company. The whole point in this Week to Week series is to give you a look behind the scenes of what it takes to run a small business. And on that note, it's not Monday morning, it's Tuesday morning. I spent all day yesterday in the office catching up on some things that we'd missed from the end of last week. If you haven't watched last week's video, if you're on your phone or your computer, I'll link it up here somewhere. Go and give it a look. We were over at Ramsey & Jackson's, the big Takeuchi dealer in Ayrshire, helping out with an open day or a dig day event on Friday and Saturday last week, which was very, very enjoyable from our behalf. So thank you very much to Ramsey & Jackson and everybody there and everybody at Takeuchi UK once again. Now we're back to somewhat of normality this week. I can't promise it'll be as exciting, but that's the whole point of these videos, to show you a true behind the scenes look at everything it takes to run a small business like ours. So with that being said, we're back up in the warehouse here just now to grab a couple of things. We've got the big GBN140TL breaker. We unpacked this last week, and I can't remember if I included it in last week's video or not, but it's unpacked. I think I showed you the delivery from memory, but it's unpacked. I've got the top plate off it. I picked up the bracket there for that yesterday. That was over at our welders, so thanks again to John and Grant for getting that done quickly. I'm waiting on the paint drying for that, then that can get bolted up to the breaker and we can get it out of here. We've also taken an order for an Auger Torque 8000 max package, so I'm up here to get the serial number from the drive unit so I can get that invoiced out. The customer is getting it on finance with his new machine, and how that normally works, if you're not familiar, we would invoice the finance company, then they would sort that out with their customer, and then we would get paid and we deliver it to the customer. As such, it means you need to put a serial number on all of the documents and all of the invoice documents I should say. So I'm up here to get that. Then we'll get back to the office, we'll deal with the paperwork for that while the paint's drying for the breaker bracket, and then we'll try and get back up this afternoon, get that bolted up and get that big breaker ready to go. So with all that being said, if you're new here, welcome. If you've watched any of these before, welcome back. Let's see what the week has in store. It is 8:52 PM. Oh, be quiet. Tuesday evening, I'm back in the warehouse, or Woody and I are back in the warehouse, I should say. This week again might be patchy with the coverage, so hopefully I can fill you in as we go along. The bracket is painted for the big breaker. It's ready to be fitted to that. I'll do that in the morning. I came back up, I was in the office here for a few hours, came back up to get some pictures and videos of this Cangini flail. The customer possibly interested in it. It's one we've been using for shows for the last 6 months or so possibly we can do a deal on that. I just figured while he was in the mood and we were talking about it, I put a bit of effort in, walk back up, get it off the shelf and get some pictures and a walk around video. So that's done, and therefore we're done for Tuesday. Wednesday morning, we're back at it bright and early. First things first, let's get this breaker put together. Let me take you a quick look around the largest breaker that we've supplied so far. There it is, ready to go, chisel tool fitted. It is a GBN140TL with a bracket on it, 65mm pins for a 14-ton excavator. It's a 900 kilogram breaker with a 100mm diameter chisel. I'll put the spec on the screen here, but it is an 890 kilogram breaker with a 100mm diameter tool. And with all our breakers comes, as you see it there, with a hitch bracket, hoses, quick release couplers and 2 tools. That's the flat chisel point that I've fitted, but there is a round moil point to go with this as well. Really cool to see that ready to go. That is the first 14-ton breaker that we have ever supplied from here in Scotland. I think we've done a couple in the US, but that's the first one we've done from here. It is going to a local customer, so hopefully we can get out on site at some point and actually see it working. But in the meantime, there you go. Now the breaker's done and ready to go, we've got one other thing we need to get out this morning. It is an Auger Torque cone crusher bucket bracket for an Avant mini loader. I'll put some footage in here of the bucket we're talking about. It's the Auger Torque cone crusher bucket. Shout out to Highworth Paving Services on TikTok for their video. As you can see in that video, it's on a multi-one mini loader. It's the same bracket for a multi-one or an Avant. The reason we're sending just a bracket on its own is there's a demo bucket from Auger Torque going direct to one of our customers in the north of Scotland, but it doesn't have an Avant bracket on it. We're a little bit pushed for time, so I'm going to send the bracket from here up to there. He's going to swap it over with the excavator bracket that's on it, test it out, demo it for a couple of days, and then we'll get it back. Or fingers crossed the demo goes that well that we don't get it back. But nevertheless, I'm going to get this out anyway so it gets to him and he can get it demoed over the weekend. Thursday morning, we're back at it, packing more orders. First one, a little one here for a log splitter and a cradle hitch. I'll show you around that in a second. It's to get delivered out. Second one is for a very local customer. He's going to come in later on with his machine, get an auger package fitted. However, let me quickly show you around this first. I'll get this packed up and then I'll show you the other one. It is a 250mm log splitting cone with a double pin cradle hitch for a Kubota U27. And the log splitter locking ring. If you've watched our videos before, you've probably seen loads of these log splitting cones. If you're new here, I'll link the video up here somewhere. Go watch the video where I go to the factory and see these cones being made from scratch, especially for us. That's a roundup of what's going out this morning for delivery. Let me package this up. I'll get the other auger set up down off the shelf and then I'll show you around that in a minute. Done. Now this is ready to go, I can quickly show you around it. It is of course an Auger Torque package with an X1500 drive unit, double pin cradle hitch and a 150mm S4 tungsten auger. We don't always assemble them if we're shipping them out. We would normally just ship them out in the boxes, but the customer, as I said, is local. He's going to bring the machine in later hopefully. We'll get it on it, just make sure everything's working. If the weather holds up and the rain goes off, hopefully I get a minute to show you around it when we get it fitted. But it is for a GBN140TL. It'll be absolutely ideal for what he needs to do with it. He's just doing some general fencing work. hence the 150mm auger. As I say, we don't always build them up, but you can see there just how quickly and easy it is to do that. Hoses on, couplers on, cradle hitch on, pilot piece onto the auger, and you're pretty much ready to go. Right, quick update, it's 4 PM. Customer was in, picked up his auger package. He did not bring the digger, so I did not show you us fitting it because we never fitted it. We had a couple of visitors from a couple of meetings with some potential suppliers for a couple of things we were looking at for customers. So that was pretty good. And we've had a delivery. I'm going to show you that just now. Friday morning, we're back up at the warehouse. The weather has been typically Scottish. Cannot decide what it's doing this morning. A couple of orders, well, one order to sort out up here this morning. Then I need to take that to the post office, and I'm waiting on a delivery coming in. Speaking of deliveries coming in, the one we received last night that I quickly showed you around, and I have no idea where I'm putting it in here currently, was another stock order of Cangini Flails. I'll put the specs up here so you can see them, but it was TC100s, the 1 metre wide TC1 version, and the TC2 the 1 metre wide TC2 version. Again, I'll show you the specs here. So they are two different models to suit machines 10.5 to 5.5. So that was good to see them in. Gets us back up. Well, we're out of stock of both of those sizes, so gives us a few more of them in to offer. I've updated the website, I've put them back online. We're also waiting on the attachments coming back that was at the dig day last week. They should be here any time. We'll get them unloaded, get them put away as well. Other than that, that is all that's to report from Friday morning. Had an order confirmed for a planer, a little excavator mounted planer this morning. Ordered it up from Italy. I should be here next week. I will of course show you around that when it gets here. Yeah, unless anything else comes up, who knows. That's the update for Friday at the moment. Demo attachments have returned, the sun has returned. It's Friday afternoon and I'm going for my lunch, I think. Alright, Saturday afternoon, I'm back at the house. I am under strict instructions to no longer film in the house, so I'm filming outside. Saturday afternoon, it's about 4 PM. Quite a bit done this morning, a couple of hours in the office early doors, then a few hours in the warehouse, just tidying up inside and out, putting away some of the demo attachments that were out last weekend. And I unpacked a little a 70TL GBN breaker to get the top plate off it for a customer for next week. I'll show you more on that in next week's video if I needed the top plate off. Other than that, I am now home, done some exercise, went out, done a bit of running with the dog, smoking a little pork shoulder for the dinner, so if that turns out well, I'll hopefully can show you. And that's pretty much us for this week. Not quite as eventful as last week, or last couple of weeks actually, but some good orders going out. Good to see that big breaker going out, the first one of them. Good orders lined up for the next coming weeks as well. So that's the whole point in these videos, to show you behind the scenes, to show you exactly what's involved in running a business like ours. There's some weeks it's flat out, there's some weeks it's not quite as much happening on a daily basis, but there's always things to be at. There's always 100 things to be doing, but it's never always the most exciting on camera. So once again, if you made it all the way to the end of this video, it's thoroughly appreciated. If you can let us know what you thought of it in the comments when you're down there, if you could hit subscribe as well, that'd be doing us a massive favour. But otherwise, that's us for this week's episode, and I will catch you next week.